The first speaker in this part of the presentations is Mrs. Patti Sun, the founder of Damon Agency. She has a vast experience in marketing and communications with companies like Procter& and Gamble, Unilever, and supermarket chains like John Wee, Gemma, and Carrefour. In her presentation, Patty will discuss the trends of retail in China. Mrs. Patti Sun has the floor.
Much. So while people are walking in, my name is Patti Sun. I'm the CEO of Damon China. I want to see some show of hands because this is my second Global Cherry Summit, and last time was 2019, where I believe we have 500 people. Today I heard we have 900. So I want to know whether, if you guys have seen me in 2019. If you do, can you show of hands? Not that much. Okay, I can tell the same thing. 4 years ago, nothing changed. Just kidding. In China, the only thing is, constantly won't change is changing. So I'm going to talk about what's been happening, especially after, post-pandemic. Everybody really wants to know. All right. So again, while people are coming in, I need attention. So I want to make sure everybody listen to me. So show of hands, how many of you have been to China? All right, that will be good. Okay, so it's easy for me. All right, so I'll start with the agenda today. First of all, of course, I'll talk about macroeconomy. You guys heard so many great things is happening. Is it true? Okay, I'm going to tell you something. And then, of course, I will tell you more about the trends. I select top 4 trends, which is actually related to you guys, because there's so many trends, it's not that relevant. And of course, I will tell you the summary and also implementation. Okay, macroeconomy. The first thing, there is something called Consumer Confidence Index in China. So what we have seen here, actually, it's been actually pretty good, right? You actually see a peak and you drop. Do you know when that was? That was exactly last year now. I still remember last year, April, lockdown in China, in Shanghai. You guys all heard about the story. I was really thinking about going out, not staying in China anymore. But actually, right after like few months, China decided to, open the market, no more zero, COVID policy. And you see actually it's coming back. So the confidence is actually moving, actually growing, finally. At the same time, China is very specialized in getting the overseas people to tell us that we're very confident. So IMF actually do a very good positive projection, which is actually give us a lot of confidence at the same time. But the truth is, if you look at the news recently, in Q1 GDP, we already have a tremendous growth in 4.5%, which is also very encouraging. Finally, I want to tell you something, because there's actually a study from McKinsey talking about in the past few years, most of the Chinese consumers started to actually keep savings for the rainy days because they don't feel secure. Actually, I didn't feel secure either. So we keep on we start to keep some money within the bank, within ourselves. However, what it actually indicated for all of us is basically, if consumer bounce back, they have a lot of money to spend. So these are the things that actually give us a very positive news. At the same time, let's look at something is relevant to you guys, other than the good news. So these are the trends that I selected, actually is more relevant. The first of all is really the rapid expansion of membership store. Because I'm talked about the offline retail more, but I will also talk about some online, okay? The second will be, oh, am I too far? Okay, sorry, okay. The evolution of hyper and supermarket. Everybody knows a lot of supermarkets, there's a lot of bad news, right? They're closing stores. So how are they gonna evolve? How can they survive? And the third one will be accelerated the development of the real-time retail. I'm gonna tell you more about real-time retail. And the final one will be talked about the rise of regional player, regional retailer. This will be very crucial for all of us because we know tier 1 cities so well. But do we really know tier 2 and tier 3? This is something we really need to focus. So first, the first trend. Let's talk about all these logos. You'll probably be very familiar. But actually in the down here, you will be seeing some familiar one. But they're trying to follow Costco and Sam's because they're so successful in China. But how actually they really, really grow. So everybody, when they talked about membership store, we talked about Sam's Club and Costco. So I want to show this slide. You can actually see it on the left-hand side. You see how Sam's Club are so aggressive? What did they do during COVID years? They expand. They expanded to lower tier cities. They very determined. You know why? Part of the reason is because Costco is chasing them. They're very, very worried. And at the same time, you can actually see, currently Sam's Club, they have 42 stores. They call it clubs. They don't call themselves stores. 42 clubs. Costco, 3. I know they have expansion plan. They're open up, 3 to 4 more by end of this year. But the speed is really different level than Sam's Club. I want to mention something here. If you go to Sam's Club in China or to Costco, the assortment, the product selections are different. So you can actually see a lot of regional, I would say local food produce in Sam's Club. So they have so many ready to eat, ready to cook. It's very, very diversified. When you go to Costco, I have to say, I don't know whether there's a Costco people here, but actually still very American driven. Mostly imported items. But still, in Shanghai, they love it. So from this, the questions will be, are we really growing together as a Chilean cherry or cherry industries to go along with Sam's Club? How they really penetrate. Are you guys ready? If you guys are ready, we probably need to know more about how we deal with them. And I'm going to share with you the massive followers. These are some locals probably you know. Hema, right? Everybody knows Fresh People. They're so great. They're from Alibaba. I still remember 4 years ago when I actually made a presentation here, I said there are 2 groups dominating China. First one, Alibaba Group, where I have Hema. And then the second one would be Tencent, which is very quiet now. So what we've been seeing in Hema right now, they have the Hema membership store they call Hema X. So whoever actually sign up to be a member in Hema X, you can also enjoy all the membership benefits that you can get from Hema O2O, all the multi-formats that they have. Metro, everybody know Metro, right? They should be very focusing on B2B. However, they copy Sam's in China. It will be very fascinating if you go to a Metro store. It will be pretty much exactly similar to Sam's Club. Even the interior design, the assortments and everything. They're trying very hard, but they're really suffering. You know why? Because they know so much about B2B, but they know little about B2C. So they're struggling, but they're trying. Foodie, I don't know whether you know them. They're very Beijing focused, only in Beijing. They're very, they opened up, one store in 2022, but they're growing right now into 3, only in Beijing, but they sell very good. Finally, you will see a bunch of, I put Yonghui, RT Mart, BHG, Carrefour. These are the players, usually we call them hypermarket, supermarket. They want to be successful as Sam's Club. So what they really do is they talk to their suppliers to try, oh, this alert is coming back again. Okay. And we're joking about this alert is like, Chinese are coming. All right. I'm coming. Okay. Yonghui and BHG and Carrefour, even Carrefour, probably you guys know, was in a devastating situation in China when they've been acquired by Suning. RTMR is going to open their M store, which is membership store, this month or next month in China. So all these followers, they're trying so hard. Are they really successful? I really doubt. I'm so sorry, but I really doubt. We can talk more about Hema later because they have a lot of different multi-formats, which really, not moving. Okay. So that's the rapid expansion of membership store. Now talk about all our friends, hyper supermarket. All these familiar logos that you know about China, how are they doing? They're suffering, they're trying. So what we have seen so many news in China, all the retail APP that I have seen, is like, and one more shutting down, they're shutting down so many stores. Are they really that bad? How they can really survive in this typical moment? So later I will tell you something about multi-formats. In Hema, I will say Hema as examples. So they will find their way to really struggling through the market, multi-format. At the same time, they evolve, they need to do home delivery service. I still remember 4 years ago, I was here to say, hey, some of the like Walmart, they're doing good, they're using JD.com, JD Daojia to help them. They're still in it. But at the same time, most of the retailers and hyper super, they will have their own app to do home delivery service. If not, they will just die. They really need to do. But you can imagine all the supply chain that they have used to be giant space, 10,000 SKUs in those 5,000 square meter places. They do all this kind of different thing, including fresh, food and non-food. But when they actually go for those online warehousing, online particular assortment, they really don't know how to do it. So they struggle, and they're trying to learn their way. So this is what we see, the evolution. But what I really want to talk about is the rise of multi-formats. So taking Hema as an example, because I see them very brave, a lot of money to do the investment. They're pretty right now. Hema, this is the Hema O2O supermarkets that you probably have seen them. Remember those stores, you go to China, you see those on the ceiling and then do the delivery. Those are what we call the O2O supermarket. They're doing good. Their major targets will be someone like me. I depend on Hema O2O every other day. I do my grocery. I do my fresh fruits or meat, everything ready to eat from them. And I said they have 8 stores about Hema club membership at Hema X, targeting bigger family size, one week or 2 weeks shopping per family. And also down there's a mini store, Hema Mini. To be honest, they shut down and they reopen. They actually did it very, very fast. They figure out this mini store doesn't work because mini stores are community stores. So the SKU selections and everything needs to be very precise. They reopen it this year. Finally, I don't know if you can see it, there's the Hema Aolai. There's a discounter outlet. It will be very fascinating if you go to China next time, go to see them. Because I actually visit them several times. It's not a big store. The beauty of outlet, if you go to Hema O2O before, remember there's like this vegetables called daily fresh. Daily fresh means they will not carry overnight vegetables. So what happened to those overnight vegetables? Gone? To garbage? No. They're very clever. Before, they talk to the food service, and then they actually come up with this discounter outlet. So all this overnight, they would just go to the outlet with a very cheaper price, where the older generations, the community stores, will wait in line to get their cheaper vegetables. Because remember, your cherry product, all the Chinese shoppers wanted to handpick, remember? So all these consumers really want to handpick. So they handpick those vegetables. It's actually overnight from the O2O formats. Last but not the least, they opened up a neighborhood store called Linli, Hema Linli. It's not a store, sorry, it's not a store. It's a self-pickup stand I would say it's a kiosk where there's basically a small warehouse, one people there to keep all this kind of what you order in the one day before through Hema apps. So you can actually choose, I wanted to be picked those items in the neighborhood self-pickup. It's a cheaper price because you can actually wait for one day. Some of the item you can wait for one day and to pick it up in your own community kiosk, like Hema Lingli. This is the model that we see the beauty of it. This is the evolution, what we see. First of all, you can clearly see precision marketing, precision targeting, because they target different target groups with different range of consumer power, consumption power. At the second time, they leverage sourcing power. This is where they really earn their money. So they can actually source different tiers of price products with same suppliers. Just probably you guys probably need to think about how to really work with Hema in the future, because they have so many different formats. They're gonna ask you, I want to have this variety with this kind of size. Can you do it with different multi-formats? And last but not least is complete the loop of logistics. They're very smart because you can imagine in one city, let's take Shanghai as an example. If you guys been there before, big city. So in the downtown area, you have the O2O. And then at the community nearby, they have this outlet and neighborhood store and mini store. But where actually their outer ring area, in the suburb area, they have a Hema X. So when they're very famous for the delivery service, so they can actually choose the nearby stores to do all the logistics. So everything can be done within 30 minutes. So 30 minutes. So that's actually where we're seeing the evolution of hyper and supermarkets. All right, the number 3 trends, accelerating of the real-time retail. So these are the logo probably you're familiar with, but what are they doing? So everybody, when they ask me this question, what is real-time retail? Just think about those delivery service, similar to Uber Eats that you have. So they actually can deliver within 30 minutes, 1 hour, even within 1 day. That we all call them real-time retail. So for all the retail on AP, Vanguard, RT Mart, they all have their own delivery service. At the same time, you will be integrated platform, which probably you will be familiar with, Jingdong, Jingdong Daojia, Ele.me, Meituan. So these are similar to Uber Eats. And at the same time, all these O2O retail, which I just mentioned, Hema, 7Fresh belongs to JD. And finally, I want to talk about distribution warehouse. This is actually the beauty of it, is they don't own stores. They just have distribution center. So all they really need to invest is the efficiency and the people with efficiency mindset to do all the delivery service like Ding Dong and Pupu. Pupu is very famous in southern Fujian province, and also Meituan, Maicai. So this has actually been happening every day in our life because we depend on all these apps every day in China. But what I want to show you one case study is actually they do perfectly for your category, for your fruit category. Is actually, before I talked about this, let's think about the trends and sort of like consumption behavior for fruit categories a little bit change in China, especially for urban office white collar people, which we don't have time. But I want to, not every fruit like cherry, right? It's easy. You just wash it and you eat it. But if I want to have watermelon, if I want to have like pineapple, I don't have time to buy one and cut it. So can I just enjoy it within 30 minutes? So this kind of fruit channel, specialty fruit channel, started to do a lot of ready-to-eat pack. For example, this ready-to-eat fruit, you can have a slice delivered to you right away, so you can enjoy it. At the same time, they will be selling a lot of mixed fruit juices, and at the same time doing a lot of fruit yogurt, all this kind of mix-up with fruits. So these are the trends because it's convenient. It becomes like a snacking. Everybody wants to have this category to be snacking, so it's actually more consumption, diversify. So what Meituan have done, they cooperate with this channel called 果多美. 果多美 is actually right now part of Pagoda, which is your friends. Everybody know them. They're very powerful. And I think we have friends from Pagoda. I'm not saying something bad about Pagoda. Pagoda is big. It's great. Okay, so Meituan, they're actually together with Guodongmei, what they did is with their big data, they basically, you can imagine Meituan's like Uber Eats. They have this data, they can tell you that, hey, Guodongmei, I have the data showing location-based, that in this city, in this region, district, a lot of people are ordering fresh fruit, and also, ready-to-eat fruit. Do you want to cooperate with me? So they basically cooperate with Guodongmei in Beijing. So they identify 15 pilot stores. So they basically tell Guodongmei, said, in these 15 stores, what you're gonna do is you need to invest a small area to do ready-to-eat and fruit cut preparation room. You need to have a SOP. You need to do online promotion plan, which I will teach you how to do it. That's the beauty of Meituan as well. And then they will do 30 minutes delivery. So these kind of real-time retail is really play along very well with our category as well. So we need to think about how to deal with them and how to utilize them in the future. Finally, the fourth trend, the rise of regional retailer. In this slide, I guess you don't really know this logo. Okay, these logos will be, not that familiar with you. So what I want to tell you is, we have heard so many things about Walmart, Yonghui, all these major players. So these regional players, you can see the store numbers there. They're actually not small, and they're very powerful in their own region or in their own province. So they're pretty much satisfied of where they are. They didn't really plan to go expansion outside of their province. So they focus. They will have some benefit to it. First, they have very good local connection. They have local produce with local flavor. For example, ready-to-eat in Sichuan is going to be spicy, right? In the Jiangsu province, probably something sweet. And also, they have a very strong local and regional supply chain to help them. And if you go to their store, very local-driven, emotionally attached. They will also do rewarding program to their own province. So social responsibility at the same time. And of course, local government will support them because they're the tax contribution. Finally, they are very agile in transformation. That's exactly what China retailer really needs to have. So they can actually transform right away. So we see the beauty of it. And all these kind of different regions, like Jiajiayue, they also, in Shandong province, they work with SPAR. So they're growing. So are we ready to go to talk to them? Are they good enough for us? What kind of SKU variety that you guys should provide it to them? Because it's not gonna be the same with whoever, Yonghui, Walmart, Vanguard. It's not gonna be the same. Okay, there's a certain distance, this work. Okay, all right. And everybody know Fruit Channel, right? So our lovely friends like Pagoda and also Xianfeng, right? They're very national driven. What about others? Are you guys ready for them? Probably you already work with them. So these are the familiar brand names that have been working with fruit channels, right? In Shanghai, we have Well Fruit, Greenery in Hunan, very powerful, Shouyang in Guizhou, and also in Guangdong, Uncle Fruit, which is 30 plus before. See the store numbers, they're already pretty, with a big scale. But what about others? Have you guys worked with others? Probably you have seen them. Probably you go to Shenyang, they will say, hey, let's look at Dili. They're pretty powerful. But sometimes we'll just ignore them because, first of all, probably they don't want to carry bigger size of cherry, or the price is not good enough. But we're seeing the trends. The lower tier cities is really growing. Are we ready to talk to them? Actually, we also see one trend, which is consolidation. Basically, consolidation, merger, and also alliance between all the fruit channels are really getting there. Because, for example, Uncle Fruit is already talking to so many different fruit channels, so they have alliance with each other, so they have better power, buying power at the same time. Finally, one final slide. Because last time I mentioned about this community store, I still want to remind you, even though they're satisfied with where they are, they grow within themselves. For example, there are three major players for the community fresh outlet. The first one is Fresh Legend. They're only focusing in Anhui province in Hefei city. They already have 200 plus stores. And they have a very good profitable model, which they know how to run it within that size of the store. And also Qian Dama was also very famous. They're trying to expand, but they fell. And they now get another round of VC to go again. Because they actually want to never sell overnight meat. But they were actually originally from southern China. So southern China with a high temperature, basically everybody wants to buy fresh stuff. So overnight something, oh it's a good selling point. However, when they go abroad to north, the northern China doesn't really care. I can buy something like 2 or 3 nights with the fresh meat and fresh vegetable. So that doesn't work. So they actually learn their lessons. And they're all actually being suffered by the community group buy during COVID. So that's actually something they've been learning. The final one is the Yiping Shenxian. This channel is very interesting because they have this, the owner is actually from Yonghui. So they're very famous for their partnership program. So whatever store manager can own shares in that stores, so actually motivate them to grow. They're only in Hefei right now, but they expanded to 17 more cities. And they're already over 1,500 stores right now. So you can actually see they actually have a very good display. They call it 活着的菜. So that means the vegetable is alive. It actually sells your vegetables like a plant. So people actually feel very interested. So all these actually we see the opportunity. But finally, what is the implication for you? Just a recap. First of all, rapid expansion of the membership store. So what I just mentioned, what is the preferred variety and package when all this membership store go lower tier? Are we ready for that? Second, evolution of hyper and supermarkets. If home delivery is the key for them to be successful, are we ready to go along with these strategies? And at the same time, remember multi-formats. Are we ready for multi-formats to go along with it? And the third one is the real-time retail. So can we create something? For example, meal solutions. If we talked about strategy for tier 1 city in the future or the next season, or going lower tier, it's going to be totally different because we're talking to different retailer. If in the first tier cities, we do a lot of this kind of Meituan cooperation, are we ready for RTE, RTC? Finally, the rise of regional. The regional retailer, the challenge is, are we ready for a better and speed, good in speed and logistics? So this will be the crucial thing that we really need to learn in this trends that we see in China. So this is actually my presentation, but I also have one final slide, which I always want to remind everyone what I actually been observed in China. This is the new watch out, the discounter model, the discounter stores. It's been growing tremendously. So actually, I want to make a comment here, which probably, I'm not sure whether all the Chinese will agree with me. After pandemic, actually the consumption power and also the behavior is really different. I hate to say, the richer get richer, the poor get poorer. So basically, it's really two separate roads. So if we're talking about all this middle class are rising, all the memberships, Sam's Club, that are so great. But at the same time, why this discounter model is so great? They have the first one, the left-hand side, Hamax, 500 stores in 20 cities already. But they don't carry fresh right now. But that doesn't mean they will not change. Probably they will change right away. China. So this is something that you need to watch out. So because all these players already playing it in their own field with the food, non-food category, but they don't carry fresh yet. So this is something that I believe that you will probably be benefit, and I really think you will probably like my presentation. And if you know me, at my final slide, I will also needs to do one thing. You don't know it, right? Gustavo knows, right? Are you coming over so we can have the same photo? So this is such a China way. I'm gonna do a selfie all together with you. Okay, let's try to do it. Because last time, Gustavo is also with me. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you very much.